Today's broadcast is on the five stones of David. And we can all take uh, spiritual meaning out of each stone. And I'm doing this on my prayer line broadcast today. I will be back doing the prayer broadcasts again tomorrow. If you've got any prayer requests, please get a hold of me. Even if you're listening on YouTube, because I'm going to be posting this on YouTube today as well. If you got any prayer requests, please get a hold of me on Pastor Billy Higdon or Prayer Line CWD. Both of them's on me on Facebook. I check them every day. Get a hold of me with your request. Today is the five stones of faith. Today you can turn to 1 Samuel 17 and 40. It's the key verse today. And he took his staff in his hand and chose him 5 stones out of the brook and put them in a shepherd's bag which he had, even in a scrip. And his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Palestine. 5 smooth stones David used. Had written on it, "Fear not." Goliath, Palestine champion from Gath, stepped out from his lines and shouted his usual defiance, and David heard it. "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God?" Maybe David remembered the words of Moses. Deuteronomy chapter 1 says, "Do not be afraid of any man, for the judgment belongs to God." Perhaps he read the words of the prophet Isaiah. "He who formed you, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. Fear not when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Fear not when you pass through the rivers, they shall not sweep over you. Fear not when you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." Tonight, we may go through some trials, we may go through some tribulations, we may stand in the midst of our own giants. But fear not, because we may go to the fire, but we ain't going to get burned. And we need to just trust upon the Lord tonight for everything. The second smooth stone that David used had written on it, "I believe." Do you believe tonight? David said to Saul, let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him, because I believe." David remembered the words of Jehoshaphat. We have no power to face the vast enemy that is attacking us. We do not know what to do, but our eyes upon you, I believe. 2 Chronicles 20 and 12. David remembered the chronicle had written, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged because the king of Assyria, for there is a greater power within us, with him. With him is the arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord our God to help us and to fight our battles." And the people gained confidence from what Hezekiah the king, I believe. The third smooth stone that David used had written on it, "God is able." Saul replied in verse 33, "You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a boy, and he has been fighting a man from his youth. He has been a fighting man from his youth." But David said unto Saul, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued it from the sheep from its mouth. When it turned to me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Your servant has both killed the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he's defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. I am not able, but God is able." Perhaps he recalled the words of Daniel. In chapter 16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said to the king, If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us. But even if he does not, O king, that would not serve your God or worship the image you have set up. The king asked Daniel, has your God whom you serve been able to rescue you from the lions? David answered, my God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions. O king, my God is able. The fourth stone that David used was the stone that is written, I can go in these. Then Saul dressed David in his own tunic. He put a coat of armor on him, and a bronze helmet on his head. David fastened on his sword over the tunic and tried walking around, because he was not used to them. I cannot go in these, he said to Saul, because I am not used to them, so he took them off. David, I can go in these the Spirit and hovers. Now the earth was a formless and empty darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of the Lord was hovering over the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. David believed, I can go in these, the Spirit that Joel talked about. I will pour out my Spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams, and your young men will see visions. Joel chapter 2:28. The fifth stone that David used had written on it, remember the rock. The only stone needed, the only stone that was cast against the giant, it was the rock. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Philistine on the forehead. He fell over. Remember, in the rock gushed out of water to a thirsty group in the wilderness. David recalled he was standing on the rock of ages. I'm standing on the rock of ages, safe from all storm that rages, safe from every storm and all the storm that rages. Rich, but not from Satan's wages. Rich in love, I'm rich. I'm standing on that solid rock, the rock of ages cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from thy wounded side which flowed be the sin of the double curse. Save from wrath and make me pure. Nothing in my hand I bring, simply to the cross I cling. Naked, come to thee to dress. Helpless, look for thee for grace. Foul, I to the fountain fly. Wash me, Savior, or I die. Remember that old song, The Rock of Ages. You know, tonight, God is our strong towers. He will be whatever we need tonight, and he will fight our many battles. Just have the Lord there by your side. This last song is the altar call song tonight.